Hi, everybody. My name is Valeria. Let me start with a quick introduction about myself. I am from Italy, and I work mainly with photography and video. I've been here in Berlin for 2 months. During my first month, I attended the Berlin Art Institute because I wanted to learn more about the Berlin art scene, and the school works really well to do so. And I decided to move in Berlin because I feel the need to think about my work from a different perspective different from the Italian one. So let me show you one of my previous work, which is this one. It's called Save Water, Drink Your Tears, and it's part of a project about the millennial generation. Through photography, I would like to reinterpret the fears, the objectives, the desires of this generation. As you can see, it is a self-portrait. I work mainly with self-portrait, but I don't consider them as true self-portrait because this kind of photographies don't show my true self, but they show a persona, a character, in a way that I use my body, use myself to interpret a concept, an idea. As you may imagine, photography like this can involve a lot of steps. So let me walk you through my process. Okay. As many other artists, I also start with drawing or writing. This is a detail from my sketchbook. It's really messy. I used to write and overwrite what I wrote before. I don't know why I do that, but writing or drawing are things that really help me to clear my mind on what I'm about to shoot. So they are really important for my process. And of course, because I work with photography and video, I have to set the lights. I have to say that I prefer to use natural light, but sometimes it's impossible. So I need to use artificial lights. For example, in my home studio here in Berlin, I need to use these 2 LED lights, but they work perfectly for the purpose. So I'm happy with that. And sometimes I proceed with the background setting, and I usually use fabrics. In this case, I'm using a piece of red fabric for photo that is called Biolipstick. I'm showing you a detail of the photo. And once the lights and settings and the backgrounds are done, it's time for me to get ready. So I do my makeup, I choose my clothes or costume for the photo that I'm thinking about to take. But other times, picture can require to create objects or accessories. Like in this case, I'm creating a fake hair lash. So what I did was cut some pieces of hair from a hair extension, and then I glued them on the base of the fake lash. Maybe the picture explains better what I did. Then I applied it, and this is the final result. As you can see, the accessory that I made is the main character of this picture. This picture wouldn't work without it. And what is missing from the process here is the last step of the process, which is really important. The post-production. I work mainly with Photoshop and then Lightroom, and I use a graphic tablet, which is really helpful if you work with Photoshop. I don't know if you are familiar with this software, but There is the window with the layers. Photoshop works on layers, and a project can involve a lot of layers, because I like to dedicate myself to different parts of the picture separately. And I edit mainly the colors, and sometimes I also edit some of my features, but only if it is necessary for the concept behind the picture. So the process is over, and now I'm showing you some of my works. This is a general view of some of my works. This is a perfect example of what I was saying before about the editing of the facial features. Here for this picture, which is called homemade lifting. Of course, I plump my lips, I stretch my eyes, because I was talking about lifting, so I need my face to look in a certain way. And all these pictures are part of a project that I've been working on these last 2 years. And it's a project about the relationship between virtual reality, and identity, which is a huge topic. So these pictures are connected to these issues in a different way, from the women's body expectation to the world advertisement we live in. This is another picture, Don't Trust Imitations. As you can see, my approach is really ironic, grotesque, and a little bit weird sometimes. The concept is really simple. It's about the pressure that sometimes we can feel to look in a certain way. So I decided to reinterpret that by standing between two inflatable dolls who are stereotypes of female bodies. And then these other two pictures are part of the advertisement project. I think I don't have to say a lot about these pictures. They talk for themselves. And this is my most recent work. It's not finished. So I don't know if it will look the same once I finish it. And yes. Thank you for your attention. I have my website that is still under construction, and I am on Instagram and Facebook. Feel free to follow me if you want. And thank you for your attention.
I really like your work is really cool, and I love the continuity you have in your kind of in the collage you showed, where you have all the different pages together. Yeah. And obviously this is like a kind of unified idea you have, but I was wondering like why you felt Berlin was the correct place for you to go to do that, and like how it relates to Italy. How is that different? Like,
okay, I don't know if Berlin is the right place, but what I was telling is that I need a different context. Of course, Berlin is very different from the place that I come from. And so, yeah, I need a completely different context. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I
think I know what you mean. It's just... Yeah, I was just intrigued to see how the Italian scene is different to Berlin. Why,
okay,
how it differs. Like if there's different sensibilities that.
Yeah, I think the Berlin art scene is more various than the Italian one. By that I mean, in Berlin there are a lot of project spaces. In Italy, it's not something that you usually see. Mm-hmm. It's more about the institution, so the galleries and the museum. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think in Berlin there are more spaces to experiment.
Yeah, great, thanks. No, I was just interested what your motivation were. Thanks.
Thank you for the questions. And actually, I've got one question myself. So what about the audience in Italy? How do they perceive your artwork? And how is it in Berlin?
Yeah, the reaction are really different because someone can exchange my work with advertisement, like yes, like as you can see, a spot. But I think that they see there is something else behind. So I had the possibility to work with galleries in Italy. So yeah, but the reaction can be different. A lot of people can ask me, what is the difference between your work and an advertisement or a cover of a magazine? Yeah.
No, I just wondered because some of the images you presented, particularly the one when you were in the middle of the two figurines,
Yep.
it was like a very dramatized, I would say, and very
Yeah.
sexual way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can see that in Berlin, it's like, okay, that's fine, nobody cares. But somewhere in Italy, it might be like, wow, you cannot put this one in front of a people.
Yeah.
Or is it just my misconception?
No, I do. I think they feel the irony behind the picture. I didn't have this kind of
reaction.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
So my question is a bit about, more specifically about the series. Do you think, like, I have the sense that you are driven, by the concept, by some kind of topic. This is what it looks like to me. So do you have? Is there where is this going? Is there a circle that you're gonna complete? Is there an end or a series of subjects you have to address? And a follow-up question: do you have some visual forms or things that you want to actually depict, and then you form the idea around it? Like maybe you want to show this kind of lipstick or this kind of some visual idea that around it, then you create the idea.
Okay. Yeah, about the first question, I don't know where when this work will end. I think when I feel the need to end it, I will simply end it and begin to think about something else. Okay, sometimes I decide and I create something for the photo shoot. But other times I like to experiment in front of the camera, so things can came up very in a spontaneous way. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the questions. Anyone else? Okay.
Just my question is about the. You say your interest is not only photograph but video as well, because the project we've seen is about photo shoots.
Yeah.
Seeing this sort of projects, I am sure that you are very good for performance art.
Yeah.
In the video, you can do this as a performance with moving and using your own body.
Yeah.
Like Orlan, for example, that is famous about it.
Yes, I'm working on that.
Yeah,
because
you told us, but we didn't see only the
Yeah, I didn't show any video. Yeah, you're right. But the performance thing is something that I'm working on. Yes. Because when I work, I'm alone. And then in the performance, could be...
it's more demanding. Performance
yeah.
Is very demanding.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my point of view.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Would you say that your work is in a similar tradition to Cindy Sherman, or does it relate in any way to that sort of work?
Yeah, that's a comparison that I think it's normal to make, but I love Cindy Sherman work, but I don't feel that I'm connected to her work. Maybe I feel a deeper connection with Maurizio Catalan work for the irony, the provocatory attitude.
Thank you. So I just wondered about the influences. You mentioned the Italian scene. Do you have any influences outside of Italy that's like working on you?
Yeah, of course, my most the artist that influenced me the most is Andy Warhol. I also wrote a thesis about him. So yeah, all the pop art scene, really the concept behind that period really
Talks to.
yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I have a question because, at least from what I understand, most of the artists have a muse. They have somebody else in their photographs or paintings, but you have yourself.
Yeah.
Is there any thought process behind it?
Is there any?
Thought process, like why did you select yourself to be the model of your own pictures?
It's something that came up for a personal need, because I felt the urge to do the photos very quickly. So the only person that was available was me. And working at home makes things a little bit harder. Call a model, call someone else. It's easier if I do that. And I discovered that I enjoy it. I didn't know at the beginning.
Yeah, it definitely looks good. So I guess you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's all.
You.